Halo semua penonton YouTube channel Indonesia Racing. Dimanapun Anda berada, senang sekali nih saya Dewa bakal nemenin kalian semua nih di interview khusus. Kalau di episode sebelumnya nih sama Denny teman aku nih, itu interviewnya bareng sama Presley Martono. Tapi sekarang kita ini ada tamu special guest. Siapa sih tamunya? Aku kasih clue nih. Dia mantan pembalap F1. F1 di Formula One. Pasti kalian suka nonton Formula One. Siapa sih Kak Presley bintang tamunya? Coba kasih tahu dong.
Kayaknya namanya Alex deh kalau nggak salah. Alex Yoong.
Alex Yoong. Halo Alex Yoong.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
I mean, first of all, from everyone at IndoRacing, it's a big honor to be interviewing you. Of course, I think this will give the people great insight, and thank you so much for sparing time for doing this with us.
Oh, the honor is all mine, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I think to start things off, we'd like to jump into the hot topic straight away, and that is the upcoming virtual Le Mans, obviously. So the virtual Le Mans is happening, and it's the biggest virtual event in the world at the moment, because you got even the likes of Verstappen, who's the Formula One world champion, joining. And you're not just running one, Axle is not just running one team, but you're fielding two cars. And we're interested because in your GTE class, you're running with, obviously you have your son there, Alistair, and you've got two other great drivers, but you've chosen to go with Afila, an Indonesian driver. So maybe can you give us a bit of insight what made you choose to have an Indonesian driver on your roster?
Wow, because he's really, really quick. You guys are blessed because you have a lot of fast Indonesian drivers, really, really quick ones. And I was really pleased to get Avila. So thanks, Presley, for making that happen. I mean, one of the things Axle Sports is trying to do, obviously, is trying to make sure, like you guys do, JMX, is trying to make sure that we support local talent within the region, So it's great to get Avila there. We've got 3 Malaysians, Filipino there, Australian, so it's good to get a lot of drivers from Asia Pacific. It's so hard to get to Formula One these days. This better than anyone, Presley. It's almost impossible. The money involved is crazy. So, but that doesn't mean we can't be as good as the Formula One drivers. We can't. That doesn't mean we can't win against them. But we just have to do it in the virtual world. And it's so cool. Like you said, we're racing against Max Verstappen. Where else in this region are you going to get a chance to race against top Formula One drivers, top sim drivers? Except in the virtual world, so it's so cool that we can do these sort of things.
Yeah, and obviously you're really active in esports as well. You've been a great advocate of esports and making events, making teams. What do you see in this esports market that makes you invested in it? Because obviously you're super active there, and I think everyone really follows the pathway. Even myself, seeing how invested and dedicated you are to esport, that inspired people like myself. What led you to be involved there?
Firstly, motorsports. Passion for motorsports is the number one driver. I want motorsports to have a long future, and unfortunately, in this region, especially Southeast Asia, it's so hard to get the sport off the ground because we don't have enough venues. One track in Malaysia, you got another track coming in Indonesia, but not many facilities. So we need to get more numbers, and esports is the best way to do it. The second reason is I've seen so much talent come from this region, not just in motorsports, but in other sports as well, but they just never, ever get a chance to fulfill their potential, and so it's crazy trying to scrape together a budget, send someone to Europe to go and race. And even then he goes and races and he doesn't have the money to buy 30 sets of new tires like some of the other drivers do. You can't compete. Even if you can find part of the budget, you need to have double that budget, and it's just not sustainable. So it really ticks me off. I've seen so many drivers from this region not show their potential. So e-racing is perfect. The driving is the same. The skills you learn. 20 years of racing. I see these sim guys get on, and within 2 years, they've learned all the tricks I know after 20 years. but the tricks are real. They apply to the real life. They apply in the virtual world. So they're genuine drivers, and that excites me, and we might not win it this year. We're still quite new to this level of competition, to RF2, RFAC2, but the goal is to come to these big races and win one day.
Yeah, and I think what you just said there, I just got a bit of deja vu from back in my day. So I think you were spot on there. Back to virtual Le Mans. What is Axle Sports target? Because obviously we all can admit the competition is top. I don't think there's another race that is better than this. So what is your guys' target? I mean, is it a case of just being there to gain as much experience, or do you want to go out there with a bang?
Well, we had the first 4 races, and to be honest, it didn't go anywhere close to what I'd hoped. We really found out quite early, especially in the LMP2 car. We were missing a trick with that car. It was very draggy from about 120 to 280 kilometers per hour. Very draggy. We couldn't figure out why. About 300, it was fine. So we figured out that trick now, and we should be more competitive this weekend. But like we've been doing some races in Indonesia, the HME, and we've won races there. We've raced at the front of VEC, Virtual Endurance Championship, which is also top. Well, you're right. Virtual Le Mans Le Mans Virtual Series is another level.
The biggest challenge.
Yeah, you got the Formula One teams, you got the Coanda, you got Redline. They're big teams. We're a small little team at the moment, so I think we're on top of what we need from the car and the track. I think I'm going in there looking for top 10. I'd like to finish in the top 10 for both the cars. Like I said, I think we made a big jump since our last race in Sebring, and we can do that.
And the setup is so crucial. I mean, you really need to understand. I mean, of course, I've worked with you guys, and the way you structure your team is how a real race team would structure. I mean, that's how serious it gets. You have a full-time race engineer, and you got you conducting the sessions. I mean, this is as serious as it could possibly get.
Yeah, and it's still not big enough, It'd be nice to have a few more test drivers. It'd be nice to have a guy that could run the server for us exclusively, so we could change the server if and when we wanted. We don't have a guy here in Malaysia that can do that. Although I hear there are a couple of good guys in Indonesia that can do that with our R2 server. So I might try and grab you some contacts there. And I need a software guy as well, dude, because, I think the top teams, what they're doing is they are taking the code out and they are experimenting with it and and that's how they optimize the setup. And then, of course, make it back to standard when they race. But, it's a way of learning more about what's happening and stuff. So there's a lot more we still need to do.
Right. That's all the best for Axle Sports in the virtual Le Mans 24 hours. And thank you so much for also believing Indonesian talent as well. I think we're all honored, and everyone's going to be watching the race on Saturday and supporting you guys. And so thank you so much. If we could move on, I think Dewa here, he's a big fan of yours. I think he's been watching since he was a little kid, and I'm sure he has some questions that he wants to ask you.
Sure.
Yeah. Alex, I'm fans of you because I usually saw you on Fox Sports Asia every weekend if everyone held a race. And I know per October 2021, Fox Sports Asia was shut down. And how's your feeling knowing Fox Sports Asia shut down at the time?
I was actually really very sad. Because of COVID, we didn't even get a chance to go to the studio. Didn't get a chance to say goodbye to everyone. So, but now everyone's gone. A lot of people have left. So, I was there 15 years. When it was ESPN's, when it was Star Sports, ESPN Star Sports, and then it became Fox. So been there many years. So that's made me very sad. There are a lot of good people I worked with, and a lot of them I probably won't ever see again. So it's a shame.
Yeah, I feel too, because I no longer see you again on television, because you has a good analyze to a race with Paula Male Ali. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
I very so sad because you no longer on television analyze a race, analyze qualifying, all about Formula One.
Yeah.
So, but if you, but I still love you. I'm a big fan of you.
Thank you so much. Well, hopefully
Okay.
I can get back on TV soon.
Yeah, I
knows?
hope. I
Well,
hope
that's
so.
why-
I hope so.
That's why you have to be watching more esports nowadays, Dewa, because
I
Yeah.
see. I
Ah.
will more watching about esport from
Cool,
now
cool.
on. Okay, so what's your activity now after Fox Sports shutdown? You still analyze about Formula One on YouTube or maybe or some media?
I've been doing it on Twitter for a few people with Matthew, my old co-host, co-pundit. I've been doing some stuff with Matthew Marsh. What else? Esports, man. E-racing. That's what we've been doing, dude. Because, you know, I'm in motorsports because I love the driving. I love the racing. And you can get all of that in the virtual world. You don't get maybe the nice cars and the pretty women so much, but but the sport, the racing, the driving, the engineering is all online. So at least we get to do that.
Okay. Speaking of Formula One, you know, in 2022, some new regulation are coming into play. So what do you think about that? Could it bring a higher level of competitiveness?
Hope so. I really do. In all honesty, most likely it's not going to be as good as last year. Whenever you have a big change like that, it always benefits the bigger teams. So maybe the bigger teams like Mercedes and Red Bull will pull away from the others. I hope not. I really hope that somehow McLaren and Ferrari have found a way and we have a four-way fight for the championship. That would be amazing if we did. But the regulations are good. We needed them because since the mid-90s, Formula One has been going a very bad direction with the aerodynamics. You know, it's been almost impossible to overtake for, 25 years now? And that's just crazy. How can you go racing and you cannot overtake because the aerodynamics are so sensitive? I mean, within 3 seconds now, you're losing downforce, which is crazy. So we had to have these changes. So these changes are more simple aerodynamics from the ground effects, from the floor, which means we'll be able to follow a lot closer. It doesn't mean it's going to be like MotoGP style overtaking. No, it won't be like that, but it should be a lot better.
Okay. Now, Guan Yu Zhou is a new star Asia in Formula One grid. So, what do you expect from him in his first season?
You know, actually, it reminds me a bit like Rio. You know, when Rio came into Formula One, both drivers had solid junior categories. You know, one races here and there. You know, and I remember, you know, Rio didn't have the same sort of preparation as Guang Yuzhou, but there are a lot of similarities between the two of them. What's it going to be like for him? He's with a good team, you know. So, decent team. I mean, you know, it's not manna, you know. So
Okay.
I think if he does a good job, the team is good enough that you will be able to see it. You'll be able to see it in the results. So he needs to try and do that. He needs to try and hit the ground running, and if he can, but it's important he doesn't make mistakes, because if he does a Sonoda where he has too many crashes too early on, you can spiral downwards really quickly. So if he can keep his nose clean the first few races and then steadily build, I think he'll be good.
All right. We're rounding up the interview, and I've been wanting to ask you this question for a while, because obviously you've experienced F1 back in your days, and the cars are very different to how it was back then. But can you maybe give us an insight of like the physicality? Because I mean, for example, like me, I've driven an F3 car, and I know how physical that is. So I can't even imagine how physical an F1 car is. Can you sort of take us inside the cockpit when you're just in that F1 car? How does it feel?
It's quite violent. You get used to it. You get used to it quite quickly. But I go way back to when I first jumped in the car. You know, the vibrations are insane, you know, because your bum is on the ground and it's high speed, and you often get double eyesight. The vibrations, it makes it very tricky to see sometimes. So like Yano truly always said this. He said, when I went up from karting to, I think he went straight to Formula 3, it was like this. And then we went from Formula 3. I think Yano might have gone from Formula 3 straight to Formula 1. But I think he tested the Formula 3000 car. And he said, he tested Formula 3000 car, another big, small jump. But when he did the Formula 1 car, it was like a big, big jump. Because the car is a lot more downforce, It's, 4.5 G, 5.5 G, they're pulling laterally against the side of your neck. Your head weighs 30 kilos when it starts hitting 5.5, 6 G. That's a lot of force on your neck, the shoulders. Under braking, you reach over 6 G. So it's very violent, and the fitness needs to be there. These guys, all the top Formula 1 drivers are top triathletes.
Yeah.
You need to do the triathletes, so training the steady state.
Yeah.
You need a very good cardio base.
Yeah.
Being able to relax in the car is very important. To be a calm. You're not gripping the wheel hard. This Presley.
Yeah.
You gotta find that zen calm.
Okay. Yeah.
Lost connection. Yeah.
Lost connection. I think he's lost connection right now.
A few moments later.
Hiya.
Hey. Sorry.
Sorry.
No,
About the
it's
connection.
not you. I think it's my phone. Something happened to my phone.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Well, we're just about to wrap it up. I think maybe we could just ask like one more question, and then I think that'll
Sure.
be it. But
Okay.
if possible, I had something to say about the physicality you said before, so I'll just
Sure.
jump. Yeah, like you said, the physicality was because the thing everything's like interconnected. So let's say your shoulders start getting tired, and then suddenly, before you know it, your neck gets tired. I mean, for me, one of the most physical tracks I've driven, like I was okay physically, but Barcelona was really, really tough for me, especially turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah.
I was hanging on for dear life, especially towards the end of the day, because they put new tires on the end of the day, and I was just like, oh. And I think that was also a race week, so I just had like 3 days where I couldn't move, and I had to get massages, and that was in a Formula Renault car. So there you go, guys. That's what you guys can imagine of a Formula 1 car.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's tough. You have to train. You have to be fit.
Yeah. Okay. Our last question is, do you have anything to say to the Indonesian people, like and not just the Indonesian people, but also the Southeast Asian people, of fans who are interested in motorsport and who like it, who want to get more involved in it? Do you have anything to say to them?
Keep watching, man. I mean, the e-racing stuff is pretty cool. We got some really good drivers, really good competitions. So come and support us, starting with this weekend at Le Mans Virtual Series.
And how would they join, though? Like, if someone was interested to join, what are there steps in order to join, or do you have to own one?
Yeah, look at the competitions, the local national competitions. I'm sure you guys are doing stuff. We're doing stuff. If you can't afford it, no problem. Download free games like Race Room. Race Room has a lot of free content, and you can play with the keyboard and mouse. So you can learn the basics with the keyboard and mouse. You can learn with, I have one guy from Indonesia who's actually using his phone, the gyro in the phone, like a steering wheel, to brake and throttle and everything. And he's winning races with it. So you can do it cheaply, don't give up. See if racing's your thing, and you're good at it. Who knows? Maybe you'll get someone to pay for you for a rig.
Yes.
Go down to JMX Phantom and use their rig.
Yes, exactly. Or
Exactly.
if you're in Malaysia, go to Traction and Traction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, from all of us, it's been an honor. I've always been wanting to do this. We're all huge fans, and finally we get to have a bit of an insight to your thinking, and we really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone will appreciate it as well.
No, man. Thanks so much for doing this too, man. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you guys this weekend.
See you this weekend, man. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. Wow, tadi keren banget ya pembahasannya. Gila banget.
Pinter ya.
Pinter.
Kayak insight-nya bagus gitu.
Oh iya.
Wow.
Oke.
Gila, keren
Sorry,
banget.
gue yang terakhir, gue kira lu mau bilang, tapi lu nggak ngomong-ngomong, jadi gue tanya.
Aku tadi sudah bilang gitu.
Iya.
Nah, ya dan soalnya kita ini siapa nih yang ngomong? Maunya aku ini sih kayak mau apa namanya? Aku lupa nanya.
Apa
Selain
tuh?
beside Guang Yuzo, there are Albon and
Oh,
Tsunoda in Formula One is a good sign for development motorsport in Asia. Aku pengen tanya kayak gitu. Lupa karena tadi kepotong itu tadi. Soalnya
itu
kan
ya connection ya.
yes, because of connection. Dan aku gugup lagi, sial.
Nggak apa-apa lah, nggak apa-apa. Itu good lah.
Oke, sekian dulu untuk pembicaraan kali ini. Terima kasih buat Kak Presley yang sudah membantu saya untuk ngobrol bareng sama Alex Yoong. Dan tadi saya juga sudah sempat nanyain soal Formula One ke Mr. Alex. Jadi untuk video selanjutnya bakal ngundang siapa ya? So, stay tune terus di Indonesia Racing YouTube channel ya. Jangan lupa untuk klik tombol subscribe, klik tombol like-nya, dan juga nyalain lonceng notifikasinya. Bye-bye.